What's up? If you're watching this video, that means it's been about a week since my best was premiered, but I, the girl reading this, am writing this at 3 a.m. on a Friday before the premiere because I just have too many other things to say about the song that I just couldn't or didn't want to put in the video, and I'm anticipating a ton of confused reactions and bad faith arguments against the song. I've already seen them, they're nothing new, and frankly, they only make me want to come to bat for the song even more, but anyways, I've got a lot of other thoughts of it, and I needed to say something. So first, the easy one. I didn't really interrogate the concept of the Evergirl all that much in my preamble to the segment, and kind of just roll with the idea that Miley for some reason fit that role, pretty much just spitballing off the obvious Hannah Montana comparison, but I really did think about it a lot more than it sounds, cause like, who else at the time did we have filling that role? Selena, too boring and bland. Ariana, too bombastic, too much of a superstar, she never even tried to fit that mold. Lorde? Well, yes, in a way, Lorde is the real Evergirl of the mid-2010s, but she's relatable, sure, but in a very cold way. That certainly reflected the attitude of the youth at the time, but her brand of relatability is like distinct from what that role entailed up until 2013. Royals changed everything, y'all. Gone were the days of the earnest, warm, relatable girl. For pretty much the rest of the decade, it was all disaffected millennials writing songs that sounded like Tumblr blog posts. And Olivia pretty much latched onto that role because, well, we missed having that kind of person around. The messy but earnest Evergirl that you could, in fact, see yourself in, rather than the dry, detached brand of relatability that the industry had been selling us for years. Maybe it is cool to be overly emotional and earnest, actually. So, like, yeah, Miley was more filling time between Taylor and Olivia rather than eagerly embracing that role, but like I said, she did grow into it pretty dang well, no? Anyways, I used Olivia as a springboard to talk about how people in their early 20s, and even their teens, let's be real, tend to scoff at things they view as childish, which, like, I'm not at all trying to say I'm above that either. When I got into metal at age 14, my angsty teenage reaction was to dismiss any and all music I listened to before it as kiddie stuff, which, some of that was the Beatles, so that's funny. Though an even funnier example is Pokemon. I friggin' loved Pokemon as a kid. Got really into the Gen 2 and Gen 3 games especially, but as a teenager, I looked down on the whole franchise and didn't touch it again until I was like 20 when the Gen 6 games dropped. Oh my god, it's been 10 years. Help. Anyways, yeah, now I'm literally Zoroark. Like, you know that whole paper chase video that not many people watch? The entire thing was written and performed from the perspective of my Zoroark Sona. Even put it in the credits and nobody caught it. That was fun. But anyways, yeah, dumb idiot kid who thinks they're above something just because they used to like it when they were younger and now they want nothing to do with anything they liked as a kid because they're too mature for it. Stupid moron who still played Lucario in Smash Bros. Brawl because they were secretly hot for Lucario and didn't quite know what a furry was yet. Here's my Lucario plushie. What a handsome lad. The point is, I'm not trying to talk down to y'all because I, a 30-year-old furry, am more mature or anything. I was right there with you when I was your age, and now I'm not. You'll grow out of it, give it time. And you know I'm putting my money where my mouth is because I still have vids I made back when I was 13 up on my channel. My most viewed video has the word pwned in its opening seconds. That's so charming. 2007 was a different time. But yeah, if you don't get used to be young because you're not old enough to relate to it, that's completely understandable. Again, it's my list, not yours. All I really tried to do is explain my own reasons for loving it, and if you connect with them too, then neat. What I won't stand for, however, is all the bad faith takes. Especially, the lonely comparisons. Apparently I agreed with that at some point. I don't know why. I completely rescind that opinion. The two songs aren't even remotely comparable, unless you see Thing A and Thing B talking about somewhat similar topics without recognizing the nuance between the two that makes them vastly different songs. Lonely is a song wherein Justin Bieber tries to make you pity him for being a reckless kid, despite the fact that he's never really apologized for all the things he did and never really faced any consequences for them either. Used to Be Young is a song wherein Miley reflects on her own reckless actions, mostly introspectively, not really looking to garner sympathy. She's just being Miley. Also, the worst thing she did were like making the blurred lines guy look like a freak by twerking in front of him. That guy didn't need help looking like a freak. But, and I genuinely want to know this, where do all the takes that the song is targeted to media come from? Where has she said that? Where is that subtext in the song itself? All I hear is a song talking to a vague someone, a friend, family member, hell, a lover, or possibly even just herself in the mirror. The notion that this is targeted as her detractors only makes sense if you've already decided this is just Lonely Again and then projected that song's very obvious subtext onto this one by, again, missing the nuance. Which, screw it, might as well go for the jugular. A lot of y'all who claim to love music aren't really making any effort to actually engage with it. Y'all just want to feel like you're superior to others who don't listen to the right music. The high art you treat like a friggin' numbers game, like a goddamn spreadsheet. Yes, this is about the Fantano discourse, and I'm not even gonna go off about the misogyny angle of that one because it's too goddamn obvious for words, but it's blatantly clear none of y'all even listen to what critics say. It's all about numbers, ratings, hot takes, wherein you try to rationalize an inherently irrational emotional response and sound like a complete moron in the process. It's okay to just dislike something, y'all. You don't have to write a bad faith argument as to why Thing bad actually when music is so fundamentally subjective, it'd be weirder to like all of it. Unless you, again, just blindly parrot everything some random guy on YouTube says, at least until he says something nice about a woman. None of y'all deserve what you've got. It's especially galling in the age of AI-generated art, where I can see the entire internet converging on becoming a factory of endless content sludge with no substance or flavor prefer humanity to it. Meanwhile, Spotify has become so convenient that nobody actually buys music, supports the artists they claim to love in any way monetarily. When those same artists can no longer afford to keep making the music you use as a prop for your egos, well, what are you gonna do then? That's why I put my money where my mouth is regarding escapism and propped up a bunch of lesser known artists in my honorable mentions. It's fundamentally impossible to say I'm just spouting BS and not doing the legwork myself. May I remind y'all that the first music related video I put up on the channel was an albums list, and I've been regularly putting out short album reviews almost nobody watches since mid-2020. I still buy CDs and digital albums regularly, to this day, even as the former becomes a dying format. If I can do all that, you can too. It doesn't have to be expensive vinyls. CDs are only like 10 to 15 bucks, digital albums usually even less, and you can buy merch on their website, go see them on tour, just something more than streaming and not really paying them anything. And you'll actually own a thing rather than being dependent on the transience of streaming platforms. Support your favorite artists, y'all, seriously. Anyway, this has just been a bunch of streaming consciousness thoughts I literally couldn't sleep until I put pen to paper and wrote down. I'm fairly certain this best list is going to be particularly challenging to my audience and to people in general because it's a bit more confrontational than usual, but also because it's literally challenging the audience to do better, and I'd like to see y'all actually take that to heart. Take to heart that it's okay to like things, to not be ashamed of liking things, and to support the things you do like with your wallet because God knows they need it. And that's a great segue into announcing my page. No, just kidding. My God, it's almost 4 AM. Am I Dan and or Shay? Because I should probably go